Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, February 17th, 2026. Now, it is Valentine's Day for the 4 billionth time in Salem, but we're gonna roll with it. It is also the last episode for our beloved Chad Demare, played by Billy Flynn, and also Thomas Demare is leaving. I think Thomas and Charlotte, as well as Jeremy. So a lot of goodbyes. So let's get into it. Obviously, we have to still talk about Stephanie and Alex. I think they took up a lot of the episode today, but let's get through it, right? So first off, Chad is saying his round of goodbyes. He went to his wife's grave and sent her flowers and just reminisce about everything that's happened since she has passed, about how he's been handling being a single dad and managing day to day. He also tells her that he is leaving to Arizona with the kids to see Will and Sonny and just spend a few weeks with them. And he's definitely going to miss Salem as much as, the people that are there that love him most will. So we start out with Jeremy, who is, wrapping up things with Thomas, and he gives him this $10 bill, I guess, tip for doing well in math. And he tells Thomas how he's going to miss having him in his class. And, Thomas feels the same way. And at some point, Julie comes with cookies for the both of them because they're both leaving and she's going to miss them both. Jeremy thanks Julie for being in his corner throughout everything, good and bad and indifferent, and he's gonna miss her a lot. He's going to New York actually to be with his father. At some point, he does meet up with Jennifer and Jack, and they hug him and they just wish him well. They know that Salem hasn't really been kind to him considering he has grown past who he was before, right? And they just said that, look, your family is in your corner. They believe you. They love you. They're going to miss you. And you always have a home here. And you can always visit us in Boston as well. And Jeremy said that he would take them up on that offer. At some point, he sees Alex and Stephanie. They're celebrating Valentine's or their whole wedding honeymoon thing with their in-laws or her parents. And he sits down and he writes a note to Stephanie talking about how he's changed since then. And he hopes that he can convince her that he has and that he's not the crazy, creepy stalker that she thought, would be him. And he just, wishes her and Alex the best. It's Steve and Kayla's wedding anniversary. It's Valentine's Day. They got married on this holiday. So they're there having a dinner in what seems to be forever. And they're just catching up and they're just hoping that the plan goes well with Stephanie and Alex posing at the courthouse, and maybe it will lure Jeremy or the stalker in. Now Kayla is trying to believe that Jeremy's not, she's no fan of him, but she doesn't believe that he could be capable of doing the heinous things that he's been accused of. And Julie seems to believe that, and Steve said, I'm all for what Julie thinks, but at the same time the evidence against Jeremy has been stacked up. It is definitely overwhelming. So at this point, it's hard to really keep hope that he isn't the stalker. Now they're just hoping that they can nail the stalker once and for all so Alex and Stephanie can move on with their lives. At some point, Jennifer and Jack come and they wish them happy anniversary. They were going home, and Steve and Kayla invite them over to just celebrate, especially that Steve is off duty and they'll be celebrating the whole night. They also talk about Stephanie and what's been going on, and Jennifer is trying to just take up for Jeremy and said that Jeremy's leaving for New York, and Steve is like, he can't do that because the police told him specifically to stay in town because of everything that's going on. And she said that why? Because he's been harassed, he's been brought down there without cause. And Steve is like, it's just no cause like that. The evidence against him is stacked up. So Jennifer is saying that, look, I'm all for your daughter's safety, but I don't believe that Jeremy did this. And hopefully, this cannot be put to rest and we can all move forward, right? They cheers to that, and at some point they do leave. Now, I feel like they really overshadowed the episode with what was going on with Alex and Stephanie. Yeah, they tied the knot, they eloped, they have their honeymoon going on, and it was just so much of them having their intimate time. Like, I just felt like it just took over what should be really about Billy Flynn's exit from the show, and I felt like they did him a huge disservice because he's been on this soap opera for 10 years, and you're telling me you couldn't have like a nice montage of him throughout the 10 years, his growth and development. We're talking about when he was a teenager in Salem High, when he was with Gabby, when he was with Abigail, their whole ups and downs throughout then, and him being a single father, all of that kind of thing, right? When he was CEO of the Mirror, like there was so much material they could have used to make a montage of his exit, considering he's been there for a whole decade. I think they dropped the ball. They did too much on the Stephanie and Alex scene, right? Now, they're there, they did their elopement, they're enjoying each other as husband and wife, and they can't shout it to the rooftop yet because they're still trying to catch this stalker that they believe wholeheartedly is Jeremy. But again, they're gonna all eat crow when they finally realize that it's not him and he already left the town. Now, I just really wish that he would have stick around for that satisfaction. But again, loss of what could have been a great character and great character development. Anyways, they're there enjoying themselves, and they think about the romantic plans that they have in mind, and also that today is her parents' anniversary, and maybe they need to just go and celebrate with them and tell them the big news. So they join them at the restaurant and they tell them, hey, we eloped, and they're surprised, but at the same time they understand, and they're hopeless romantics, as Stephanie said, and they congratulate them. They have champagne and they talk about how they're looking forward to forever, and having this talk out of their lives, and that's what Steve hopes for as well. It really wasn't much to this scene. Honestly, this was overkill of Stephanie and Alex today. So Thomas is at home, and Chad comes in from the gravesite of his mom. He just came in to tell him exactly how he was going, and Thomas has all these candies and these cards from school, and he thought about the holiday, how it's really a bittersweet holiday for him because of everything it reminds him of, including his mom and how his mom would like a certain type of candy. And Chad surprised him with it, and Chad said, look, we're going on this adventure, and they're happy to be going on this trip with him and doing the sightseeing, but they're definitely gonna miss their loved ones in Salem. Julie comes over, and Julie also tells them that, look, I'm gonna miss you and Charlotte dearly, and don't forget to always video chat with me and send me pictures of the Grand Canyon and other places that they will be going. At some point he leaves, and Julie talks to Chad and tells him how she's gonna miss him around here because they have developed a great relationship over the years. She's like, I guess, a second mom to him, and he appreciates how she has been hospitable to him and the kids and treated him like family. And she said, you are family. You've been great to me when I was grieving over Doug, and to see you pick up yourself after Abigail's passing, and you just being strong throughout it all, and it gave me the courage to really get up and go after Doug's passing and go to grief therapy, and I thank you for it. And he said we're definitely far from even, right? I can't thank you for all that you've done for me. Now they hug, and it's emotional, and he will definitely be missed. He talks about how the home has been always full of love, even in the good and the bad time. They've been through a lot. It's always been somewhere welcoming. So Jennifer and Jack come over, and Julie's there, Chad is there, and Julie asked them how their anniversary went. They said it went well. They were with Steve and Kayla on their anniversary dinner. They also talk about seeing off the kids because they're also leaving for Boston, and Jennifer and Jack talk to Chad individually, and they talk about how it's been a lot of ups and downs, but at the end of the day they still remain family, and they're gonna miss him, they're gonna miss the kids, they're always gonna be connected through the kids and Abigail. And Chad tells them about how he went to the gravesite and he dropped off some flowers, some candy, and it's just bittersweet what's happening. And Jennifer and Jack are just sad that it is gonna go this way, but they did wish him the best, and that he will come back at some point. The kids come down and they hug the kids, and Jennifer said, just video call me every step of the way. When you're going on all these sites, let me know, call me. They asked Julie if Julie can read to them. So he said it's late, but go ahead because they won't be seeing her for a while. And Jennifer and Jack hugged Chad, and they, put all the differences aside, even though they were the ones, especially Jennifer, she was the one who really instigated this whole custody thing. That was just a waste of our time watching, right? But anyways, Chad said that he would meet them upstairs. He does look around the house. He sees his picture with the wedding picture of him and Abigail, and the lights turn off, and that was really it for the ending. But I'm just saying they could have done him more justice, considering that it's his last episode. They could have done a montage. He's been on there for a great 10 years. We will definitely miss Billy Flynn. Let's hope that this Connor guy does the character justice. He's good on the eyes, but let's see how he does in stepping into Billy Flynn's shoe, because there's some characters that we really have to see if the other new person coming in is gonna do them justice. Like even this Gabby person, this new Gabby, right? She took a while to grow on me, because I really think that Camila Banos did the character justice. But she what's her name, Sherry Jimenez, Sherry, yes, she definitely grew on me. She added her own twist to the Gabby character, and she's okay in my book. But yeah, let me know, guys, how you feel about Billy Flynn leaving. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel, comment below your thoughts. Let me know. See you guys tomorrow.